The Los Angeles Lakers have made multiple shocking moves as they have waived a fan favorite point guard. We're going to break down exactly what that move is and discuss why it happened as some more information has been revealed. And they've also made a huge signing in replacement of the fan favorite, and it is a big man following the Lakers missing out on center Nick Richards. There's a lot to go over today, but before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, about 83% of you who are watching aren't subscribed. This is the place to be for daily Lakers content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And there is some things going on right now surrounding the Lakers and some unforeseen events here. And there's some trade talks picking up. Obviously, the Lakers just missed out about an hour ago on Nick Richards. And then following that, you can see from Mike A. Scotto, the Lakers have waived Quincy Oliveri. So if you're unfamiliar with Quincy Oliveri, he was a bit of a fan favorite. Now I'm going to dive into why I think they did this, why reports are starting to come out on kind of why that happened. We remember back in the preseason how well Quincy played. He made the team as a two-way after going undrafted. We think about, there was a lot of hype. He signed a shoe deal with Steph Curry's company, all these different things. He was playing well in the G League, a likable guy, a very solid shooter. And then completely out of nowhere, we hadn't heard about him in a while. He gets waived by the Lakers. Now, originally, fans were confused. They were upset. They're thinking, why would you waive a fan favorite? It's only the G League, all these different things. And we'll dive into some of the reasons as well here. And he's averaging 17 points a game in the G League, shooting 40% from three, 4 assists, and 4 boards. Of course, for the South Bay Lakers in the G League, he's expected to draw interest in free agency. So, for one, if you're a fan of Quincy Oliveri, like most of us are and were, he's going to find a home elsewhere, whether that be in the NBA, but most likely to G League for another G League team. Again, it's probably not going to be an NBA role, but for Quincy Oliveri, he was an undersized point guard who could shoot the lights out of the ball, but unfortunately for the Lakers, they don't really need a point guard quite yet. I mean, at least at this point in time, they desperately need a big man. His defense wasn't great, so it's not like he could come up and play really good defense to help complement Austin Reaves and help complement that bench unit. He wasn't going to do that. If his defense was elite, maybe he could have carved a spot on the Lakers roster, but they knew they weren't going to have him playing meaningful minutes anytime soon. You think about everybody who's returning. Again, they got they got Shake Milton. Of course, they got Dorian Finney-Smith. So they got, Shake Milton kind of replaced what Quincy Oliveri, if he was going to have any minutes. Shake Milton's going to be the guy who replaced that. But also, again, he's not a good defender or anything like that. And that's not to hate on Oliveri. It's just the reason as to why they did this move. And subsequently, about 10 minutes after, of course, we'll dive into some new trade reports as well. There was another move that happened with the LA Lakers. Now they acquired a center this time, and this one is very interesting. You can see his stats on the screen. They are signing former Pelican center Trey Jemison. Now Trey Jemison's a very interesting player because you can see on the screen right here again. This season he's only played in 16 games, averaging 2 points, 3 rebounds. There's already been highlight film. There's been highlights put together of this guy. And when you think back to last season, if you watched any of the Memphis Grizzlies games for whatever reason, um, as a Lakers fan, he actually had a pretty good season. 7 points, 6 boards, albeit in very limited sample size. But again, he played 23 games, started 14 of them. And for Jamison here, this is a very interesting signing for the Lakers. We know that the main reason that they are probing at these again, Nick Richardson would have been a very good pick, and ultimately the Suns got him, and they got him for some second round picks and Josh Okogie. So basically, two net second round picks is what they gave up for Josh Okogie because he got one back in the deal as well. But I mean, they're hoping that, and you think about the Lakers depth chart right now and where they currently stand. You can see, of course, Austin Reaves, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and AD. And then off the bench, they've had Jackson Hayes, which some fans had hopes for coming into the season as like a rim protector, a rebounder, somebody who can play pick and roll offense and defense. And then, of course, Christian Koloko, who they signed, which also had fans kind of hoping would be a lot better than he actually was. Now, some fans still have hope in Christian Koloko, all these different things. And at this point, they're probably gonna, I don't know if they're gonna move Jackson Hayes or anything like that, but I mean Jamison here is gonna be in theory the replacement for Jackson Hayes, or maybe they're just signing him and they won't have him on the NBA roster. But I mean, he's played NBA games this season. He played a quarter of the season last year for the Memphis Grizzlies in a very good year, and he is not a shooter at all. He is an inside center completely. If you watch some of the highlight film, he honestly is. He doesn't turn the ball over at all, which is obviously important as a big man, especially when you're going to be getting limited minutes there. I mean, he's a solid hustle guy. He has okay defense at times. Again, he's played very limited minutes, 10 minutes a game for a Pelicans team that is the worst in the NBA. So that is one side of it as well, is the fact that, again, you're getting the scraps from one of the worst, teams in the NBA. But at the end of the day, like, I think it's going to be a fine signing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, whether or not he cracks the lineup, I mean, I know some fans, and I've already been speaking to some, Lakers fans. They're saying, hey, it's better than Jackson Hayes. They're going to cut Jackson Hayes. All these different things. However, fans are a little bit upset because Quincy Oliveri was averaging some very solid numbers, a great shooter. Yes, he wasn't great at defense. Yes, he wasn't a great three-point shooter, but at least he kind of, gave them. He was a fan favorite. We saw it in the preseason. He was exciting. He did have a turnover problem. He was not very good at defense, which are the things that you kind of need when you're trying to transition from the G League to ultimately the NBA here. And for the Lakers, I mean, there's going to be probably a handful at least of other teams waiting to get in this, get in for this guy because there's a lot. Again, there's a good chance that he ends up being a very solid bench player for an NBA team at some point. I mean, again, these aren't numbers to just scoff at here. 17 points, very good from three-point land. But the Lakers, when you're looking at what they need a big man. They have a Dalton Knecht. They have, I mean, some would argue they could replace, Gabe Vincent with Quincy Oliveri. That being said, Gabe Vincent's shown at the NBA level in the past that he could be very, solid. And this has kind of led to some rumors and things like that surrounding Jonas Valanciunas, surrounding a bunch of these other guys, because again, the Lakers missed out on Nick Richards in a trade. And we made a video on that a few days ago. Nick Richards basically is an inside center. He's a great rebounder. This is, of course, Jemison, the new signing. But as you start to look at what, all these players are going to cost, you think about Nick Richards. He cost 2 second-round picks. Reports are coming out that Jonas Valanciunas is going to take 2 second-round picks as well. So you can get Jonas for the same price that the Suns got Nick Richards. But Nick Richards is obviously a significantly better defender and, fits winning teams, I would say, better than Jonas Valanciunas, depending on what they need. Because for Jonas Valanciunas, he'll provide you some bench scoring. Maybe they can play him alongside AD, even though, Jonas Valanciunas is post-dominant. He can shoot the midi. He can shoot threes occasionally, albeit he's not a very good shooter from three, in high volume or anything like that. And you have Dorian Finney-Smith. So it's going to be interesting to see if they actually use Trey Jemison here off of the bench. If they use him in the NBA, he has NBA experience, and clearly they just wanted to swap for size. Size was the big thing that they've been missing. It's the thing that they are still missing ultimately. There's no doubt about it. They still need a backup center desperately. Jackson Hayes isn't cutting it. Obviously, AD is cutting it, but Jackson Hayes hasn't been doing anything. Christian Koloko, they desperately need a backup center, and whether Jemison can be that guy is the big question. But at the end of the day, they got rid of fan favorite Quincy Oliveri. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. And also let me know, do you think Trey Jemison is going to be able to replace what Jackson Hayes gives, or do you think he's just going to ride the bench? Because it's going to be interesting. And also, are you upset that the Lakers missed out on Nick Richards? He is going to be that's going to be a conversation over the next few days, especially as more free agents fall off the board, because there's not that many big men left for the Lakers to go after. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching.